Blessings and welcome to today's daily devotional. Today we're in Revelation 10 through 14, and just like yesterday, this is an incredibly difficult book to do if you're looking for law enforcement takeaways, and that's really not the purpose of Revelation. But in our one-year read, we obviously go through Revelation, so don't look at it as a negative just because there's not really a law enforcement takeaway. And I think I explained a little bit yesterday how this is prophecy of Christ. It's not about me, it's not about us, it's about him. But in his revelation, he takes this time to warn us so that we'll be ready for his second coming, which is just like God, always thinking of us first. Who are we that he should, anyway. So in chapter 10, and I guess you saw the note yesterday about 14 not being part, or 10 not being a part of yesterday's, but part of today's. Today we're in Revelation 10 through 14, not Romans. In chapter 10, we see this this little booklet that John sees and is told to eat this book, and it tastes sweet in his mouth, and it becomes, when he swallows it, his stomach hurts. It's bitter in the stomach. I'm gonna tell you, there's so much of this that I can't tell you what it means, but there's some of it that's plain and I think simple for us to understand, and then there's some that's just mysterious, and we know that God throughout creation has had mysteries that have been slowly revealed, and I think there are mysteries in here that will be revealed in the end times. There's even a spot where God tells John, John hears these 7 peals of thunder, and he can distinguish that there's actually 7. If I heard thunder, I couldn't tell you if the thunder came from that cloud or that cloud, but there's 7 different ones, and he can tell which one of the 7 are different. He can also hear the thunder and interpret it, the noise that it makes, and he gets ready to write it down, and God said, no, this is a mystery, don't write this down. So just revelation, it's just revelation. I've always thought, the few times that we've switched churches, when I grew up in a church, and then when I went to work for Dallas PD, and my wife and I got married, we were in a different church. And then when we moved from Dallas to Cedar Hill, we were in a different church. And when we moved from Cedar Hill out to Dublin, we had a different pastor. So the few pastors that I've had, I always have been interested in Revelation, and I always ask them at some point in time, what about Revelation? Tell me about Revelation. And it's always been interesting. Just about every pastor I've ever talked to has been like, well, those are things to come. Don't worry about it. Focus on your life right now and what God has called you to do right now. I totally get it. It makes sense. But I'm curious. I want to know what Revelation is all about and what it means. But I can't find a lot of pastors who really want to dive deep and discuss it, which, if you asked me what it means, I would probably tell you the same thing, because I don't want to start telling you things that are just good guesses on my part. Oh, here's what this sounds like, and here's what this, because Revelation, and we see it today, it skips around. And in somewhere in chapter 14, it talks about, or maybe it was the end of 13, but talks about the second beast. There's the dragon, which is Satan, and then he has 2 different beasts. One may be Antichrist and the forerunner to Antichrist. I don't understand. I just know there's 3 distinctly different individuals. And I say individuals. The beast has 7 heads. Could that be 7 different people that make up one Antichrist? Maybe there's 7 different Antichrists in the earth, and they come one after the other, or who knows. So there's a lot going on there that can be interpreted in a lot of different ways, and through the years people have made interpretations that fit their culture and their time, but then the time passes and it no longer fits. So it's maybe not that they were wrong in that moment, but it was not a fixed time. There have been events in Revelation that have been fulfilled 3 and 4, 5 times. So it's not up to man. Jesus tells us this. It's not for us to know the day or the time. There's a crown for those who look to the end and look for the changing seasons and the times. And there's a lot of things that Revelation will tell us about that let us know that we're getting close, but it's just not definitive. And I'm not going to step out on a limb and tell you something that might be wrong, because there's judgment on those who. I'm not a prophet. I can't prophesy the future. I can predict things. That's not prophecy. You can predict things, and we can read things in here that give us ideas of predictions. And I just hope you got a chance to read it. I think it'd be fun to discuss some of this stuff. So if you have questions, go ahead and email them to me. I got several pages of notes here. I'll email you these, and you can look at it. And just one quick thing before close: 3.5 years is a huge deal in Revelation. It's amazing. It'll talk about it being 46 months. It'll talk about it being 3.5 years. It'll talk about periods being 1,260 days. But they all are 3.5 years periods. So do they all these different events exist in the same 3.5 year period, or are there, who knows? Anyway, blessings on you, and I pray for you. Tomorrow we're going to be in Revelations 15 and 18. Tomorrow is our second to last day, and then we'll finish up after that. So read ahead, and I'll see you back here tomorrow. Be safe.